This is Housing News 360. The headlines: President Tinubu commissions new military barracks in Abuja. Federal Ministry of Housing plans 10,000 housing units for medical workers nationwide. Lagos State issues 48-hour relocation notice to store owners on Lagos Island. President Bola Tinubu officially inaugurated the Bola Ahmed Tinubu Barracks in Abuja, a newly constructed residential complex for Nigerian Army personnel. Built by the Nigerian Army Special Projects, the barracks offers modern housing for military officers and ranks, featuring 16 quarters for Major Generals, 34 for Brigadier Generals, 60 flats for Majors and Colonels, and additional flats for Lieutenants, Captains, Senior Non-Commissioned Officers, and Corporals. The barrack has several amenities designed to enhance the living conditions of the military personnel. These features include worship centers, sports facilities, well-maintained roads, parking spaces, water tanks, and solar-powered streetlights. In his speech, President Tinubu expressed gratitude to the Nigerian Army for their dedication and service, and emphasized the importance of providing proper facilities to support their work. The government is committed to improving military infrastructure with plans to construct additional barracks in the upcoming fiscal year. The 2025 budget allocates 1.46 trillion to the Nigerian Army, including funds for barrack construction and renovations nationwide. Natives of the Federal Capital Territory, represented by the Abuja Original Inhabitant Youth and Empowerment Organization, have called on the federal government to engage in immediate talks with indigenous communities concerning land compensation issues. These concerns affect over 858 local communities, many of which were displaced when Abuja became the capital in 1991. The organization's president, Commandant David Isaac, stated that forced relocation and lack of adequate compensation have left the indigenous people of Abuja with feelings of dispossession and marginalization. He urged the Nigerian government to acknowledge the cultural and historical significance of the lands lost, asserting that meaningful dialogue is essential for reconciliation. The Federal Ministry of Housing and Urban Development, in partnership with the Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria, is set to build 10,000 housing units under the Renewed Hope Medic Cities initiative across the country. This plan is aimed at addressing the housing needs of Nigerians' medical professionals. Housing Minister Ahmed Dangiwa announced the initiative during a meeting with the leadership of the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors on Thursday in Abuja. Dangiwa highlighted the challenges the medical workers face in securing suitable housing, especially in high-demand urban areas. He emphasized that the Renewed Hope Housing Program aims to provide affordable housing across Nigeria, with over 10,000 housing units under construction, including 3,112 units in Kasana, Abuja, 2,000 units in Lagos, and 2,000 units in Kano. Additionally, there are 12 ongoing Renewed Hope estates of 250 units each across 12 states. The Lagos State government has given a 48-hour notice to traders operating under the Apongbon Bridge to vacate the areas. This directive is part of the state's ongoing efforts to regenerate the island and address the growing environmental concerns. Commissioner of the Environment, Tokunbo Wahab, stated that human activities such as trading and construction on drainage setbacks are major contributors to flooding and pose significant threats to public safety. Wahab emphasized that drainage channels like the Mombata and Olusi and Alagbafo have been converted into illegal stores, hindering critical regeneration work. He also noted that misuse of space under the Apongbon Bridge, where traders have set up livestock markets, further obstructing drainage systems. The government plans to enforce compliance by issuing contravention and abatement notices to affect traders with enforcement actions if the areas are not vacated within the 48-hour period. Governor Basi Otu of Cross River State has firmly declared that the state will not surrender any land to its neighbors amid ongoing boundary disputes that have led to violence, destruction of property, and loss of lives. He issued this statement during a visit by the Cross River Elders Forum and other stakeholders, emphasizing the importance of protecting the state's territorial integrity. As part of the efforts to monitor boundaries effectively, O2 announced the deployment of drones for better surveillance and security along the borders. The governor reiterated that while Cross Riverians are peaceful and hospitable, their kindness should not be misconstrued as weakness. And from the foreign scene, England's homelessness crisis continues to escalate, with councils struggling to meet the demand of temporary accommodation. A high record number of children are now living in bed and breakfast (B&Bs), surpassing the legal limit as local authorities face financial strain. The Public Accounts Committee (PAC) warns that lack of affordable housing is forcing councils to allocate most of their budgets to temporary solutions such as B&Bs instead of investing in homelessness prevention programs. The use of B&Bs has risen fourfold in the past decade, with over 18,000 households, including 6,000 children, relying on them in 2024. In the year 2024, Council spent £723,900,000 on B&Bs alone, more than triple what was spent in 2014. The total cost of temporary accommodation across England has increased approximately to £2,100,000,000 for the 2023 to 2024 period, up from £1,600,000,000 from the previous year. For more housing news, catch up with Housing TV across all social media platforms.
Housing TV Africa, your first in housing development broadcasting.
intermittent power generation and supply. Practical discussion with Continent. Continent partnership with
In recent years, the search for alternative fuels to replace conventional fossil-based products such as premium motor spirit (PMS) has gained significant attention. One of the most promising alternatives that has emerged is compressed natural gas, popularly called CNG. Experts say it is a cleaner, cost-effective fuel option. However, about 4 months ago, a CNG-powered vehicle explosion at the NIPCO filling station in Aduwawa, Benin, Edo State left 3 people severely injured, including a motorist who suffered eye injuries. Upon inquiry, the Standards Organization of Nigeria (SON) provided an explanation for the explosion. According to SON, preliminary investigations revealed that the cylinder used to convert the vehicle did not meet the required CNG standards approved by the organization. Hello there, welcome to Dateline. I'm Joyce Nwosu. On the program today, we will highlight CNG-powered vehicles, upsides and downsides. Let's take this short break. Please stay with us.
Visit Housing TV Africa on YouTube and click on the subscribe button. Subscribe to Housing TV Africa to stay updated on latest happenings in Nigeria's housing sector. Follow our social media pages, like and share our posts on Facebook, Housing TV Africa, on Twitter, Housing TV Africa, Instagram, Housing TV Africa. Join the conversation and keep up with latest housing updates.
Moving on. CNG is a byproduct of natural gas that has been compressed to a high pressure to enable proper storage and ease of transportation. It is primarily composed of methane and used as fuel for vehicles, offering several advantages over PMS. However, despite its benefits, CNG also comes with certain challenges that must be addressed before it can become a widespread replacement for PMS globally. Some of the benefits and disadvantages of CNG as an alternative to premium motor spirit (PMS) are as follows. One of the primary advantages of using CNG as an alternative to PMS is its positive impact on the environment. Experts say CNG is a cleaner burning fuel compared to PMS. When combusted, it produces significantly fewer harmful pollutants such as carbon dioxide, nitrogen oxides, carbon monoxide, and other harmful particles. Specifically, CNG emits up to 30% less carbon dioxide than gasoline or PMS, reducing the overall carbon footprint of vehicles. The reduction of nitrogen oxide and particulate matter also helps improve air quality, particularly in urban areas where traffic congestion contributes to high levels of air pollution. By reducing the emission of greenhouse gases, CNG can play a significant role in mitigating the effects of climate change. Another compelling reason for the adoption of CNG is its cost effectiveness. CNG is generally less expensive than PMS on a per unit basis, primarily due to the lower cost of natural gas compared to gasoline or diesel. The price of CNG is often more stable than petroleum products, which are subject to fluctuations in global oil prices. For fleet operators, public transportation systems, and private vehicle owners, switching to CNG can result in significant savings on fuel costs. Additionally, the higher energy content of CNG relative to its volume means that vehicles powered by CNG can travel similar distances to those running on conventional fuels without the need for frequent refueling. The global reliance on petroleum imports for PMS has created significant concerns about the energy security, especially for countries that do not have substantial domestic oil reserves. In contrast, natural gas is abundant in many regions and is often locally sourced. By transitioning to CNG, countries can reduce their dependence on imported oil and diversify their energy sources, which enhances their energy security. Furthermore, CNG-powered engines tend to perform better in terms of engine longevity and maintenance costs. Because CNG burns more cleanly than PMS, there is less carbon buildup in the engine, which can reduce the need for frequent engine repairs and prolong the life of engine components. Experts also state that CNG engines operate with smoother acceleration and quieter operation, contributing to a more comfortable driving experience. For fleet operators, these translates into lower maintenance and repair costs, as well as fewer vehicle downtimes. Another upside shows CNG-powered vehicles as quieter than their PMS or diesel counterparts, which is an important benefit, particularly in densely populated urban areas. PMS and diesel engines tend to generate significant noise pollution, which can be disruptive to both human and animal life. Due to the way the fuel burns more cleanly and efficiently in CNG vehicles, they produce less noise, contributing to a more peaceful environment free of noise pollution. Now, to the disadvantages of using CNG. One of the major drawbacks of adopting CNG as a mainstream fuel is the limited availability of refueling infrastructure. CNG refueling stations are not as widespread as traditional PMS stations, especially in rural or less developed regions. This limited network of refueling stations presents a significant challenge for CNG adoption, particularly for long-distance drivers or commercial fleet operators who rely on extensive refueling options. The lack of infrastructure creates a chicken and egg problem. Without a large number of vehicles using CNG, there is little incentive to invest in building new refueling stations, and without a robust network of refueling stations, consumers are reluctant to purchase CNG-powered vehicles. Similarly, because CNG is stored in high-pressure tanks with about 10 millimeters thickness or even more, its volume of concentration by weight or capacity it occupies is lower than that of PMS or diesel. This means that unlike PMS or diesel storage tank, which is less thick, CNG storage tank cylinder has lesser space for storage. While advancements in tank technology have improved the storage capacity of CNG tanks, it remains a disadvantage when compared to PMS or diesel storage tank. Furthermore, the bulkiness of CNG storage tank reduces the available spaces in vehicles, which can be a concern for certain types of vehicles, such as passenger cars or commercial trucks that require significant cargo space. Now, while CNG is considered a safe fuel, there are concerns about the safety of high-pressure tanks and the potential risk of leaks. CNG is a highly flammable gas, and any leaks in the storage of fuel delivery system could lead to an explosion or fire outbreak. Although modern CNG tanks are designed with safety features to prevent these accidents, the risk of leak remains a concern, particularly in the event of a crash. Because CNG is lighter than air, leaks may not always be immediately noticeable, thereby increasing the hazard of unnoticed accumulation of gas in confined spaces. Strict regulations and safety standards must be enforced to minimize this risk and ensure the safe use of CNG-powered vehicles. Another drawback is its environmental impact. Natural gas is primarily extracted through drilling, including methods like hydraulic fracturing, which have raised environmental concerns related to water usage, groundwater contamination, and seismic activity. The extraction of natural gas also involves methane leaks, a potent greenhouse gas which can offset some of the climate benefits associated with CNG. After the break, I will be joined by an auto expert and CNG installer. You want to stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. Taking us further in our conversation is a female mechanic and CNG installer. I'm glad to have in the studios with me Juliet Moses Shehu. She's the head of Technical Auto Gas Nigeria. It's glad to have you join us on Dateline. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Now tell me, how does it feel, being part of a job that is traditionally held by men? How did you get into the automotive world, so to speak?
Okay. Normally, I like doing things differently among my peers. I don't like doing things that ladies normally do. So I like the uniqueness among the ladies. So that's why I go for that path. And when I came across the training, I came across it online on Facebook. I was just scrolling through my phone and I saw an advert where they want to train ladies. And this lady, she's also a female mechanic.
Okay.
That's Joyce Adams.
Okay.
Yes, the first female mechanic in the north.
Oh, really?
Yes. So
She's my namesake. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. So she put up the training, and I was interested, and that was how I applied and started.
All right. So you have been having these conversions, CNG conversions for people, clients. So I'd like to ask, based on research, how long has CNG cars been used around the world?
Based on research, we could say CNG cars or vehicles. Let's use vehicles because they didn't start with car. Way back in the First World War, that's when they started using CNG.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's over some decades now that the world has been using CNG, but it is new to Nigerians here. I think CNG came into Nigeria about 10 or 11 years ago when I started from Benin, but gradually we've started adopting it. When you talk about the world, it's been over 30 years in use of CNG.
And the removal of fuel subsidies, certainly,
Yes.
probably now took it up a bit higher. Now, let's move on to countries using CNG massively, major countries using CNG.
Major country, the first country that is majorly using CNG right now is Iran. When we talk about Iran, we talk about China also, Argentina, Italy, India. There are a lot of them that are using Egypt, Malaysia, a whole lot of.
Okay, so we can say it's a welcome technology.
It is a welcome technology.
Now let's talk about how good is this technology.
CNG is a very good technology in the fact that it's a very safer for. It's very safe. CNG is very safe. It is eco-friendly. It is environmental friendly, and it's also costs friendly, effective also. So it's a very good technology. It's a welcoming one, actually.
Okay, why I asked that question was from the background of incidents of explosion and safety ratings of CNG powered vehicles. Now let's talk about the popular one that happened in Benin some months ago. How has that affected, the acceptance by the populace of this technology?
I think the first thing here is the awareness. I don't think many Nigerians have the awareness of the CNG. They don't know the safety measures. They don't know the quality measures of this CNG. So by the time we sensitize, we can't sensitize everybody, but at least to some level, and everybody knows how this CNG works, then I think it's going to be good for everybody. The explosion that happened in Benin, that was sometimes last year. What actually happened there was fake cylinder, the use of fake cylinder. These cylinders, your CNG cylinders, have the capacity of holding up to 200 bar pressure in it. And when you give a fake cylinder that type of pressure, of course, there will be an explosion. So that was what happened in Benin. These guys that made this fake cylinder, I think they don't have the awareness of how this CNG itself works. They don't have the awareness of the pressure that this CNG is holding. So they don't know the right equipment to use, and since it is cheaper, they went for the cheaper and less quality CNG cylinder. So that was what happened in Benin. So when you use the right cylinder, you meet the right people to install for you, and you use the right cylinder, I don't think there will be any form of explosion.
Okay.
Yes.
That said, let's look at you identifying standards when it comes to the cylinders. So how do I identify this is a fake, or substandard, or a quality cylinder?
Okay, going to that, that's why I'm always talking about this awareness, because if you ask a lot of people, they don't even know anything about CNG. They don't. When you say you are not using CNG on your vehicle, they will be like, "What is CNG?" And you want to educate them more. When you educate them more, a good cylinder is supposed to be having at least minimum of 6 to 8 millimeters. That's on the that's the thickness.
Okay.
The thickness of
Okay.
it.
Okay.
And it is not fabricated, it is not welded.
Okay.
It is actually formed, it is molded. When you see the documentary of how they are doing the cylinder itself, you know how standard it is. So when these guys go and they see something, they say, okay, let's just form something. Everything is gas now. It will carry gas. So when you even see both of them, you will know the weight alone.
Okay.
That cylinder is carrying. Only the weight of the cylinder itself, you will know that this one is a quality cylinder, because it's very, very heavy.
Okay. Now, a couple of drivers have complained about how long it takes to, fill a CNG cylinder. It takes, you have longer queues these days for the CNG gas compared to PMS. What, certainly that on the surface is a disadvantage. So is that not enough discouragement for anybody who will be thinking of
I
converting?
think for now, that is the only disadvantage we have in CNG for now. And that boils back to our government, because there are pipelines. They just need to make these pipelines available in every state, so that we can have more of CNG stations around. Why those queues are is because of the limited stations we have. In Abuja, we have stations at Airport Road. There's one in Airport Road, there's one in Kubwa, there's one in Gudu here, close to Prince and Princess here. And there's also one in Dede side. So, but sometimes all these ones, they sometimes have, they sometimes don't have. But the ones that normally have is NIPCO at Airport Road. So you see the queue there. Everybody wants to get it. And to tell you why there's queue is that everybody's actually keen to this technology. They are keen to the technology. So the more there are more conversions around than the station itself. That's why you are seeing those queue. If not, it's a very, very good technology.
So the upsides are way higher than the downsides.
Yes.
Okay, now let's talk about how much it takes to convert a car. Newer models, are they cheaper? Newer models of vehicles, are they cheaper to convert compared to the older models? And then how much when you have to fill up a fuel tank and then to the CNG gas?
Okay, let's start with filling up before we go into the prices, because the prices actually
Differ.
They differ because of the cylinder size. We have cylinders from ranging from 30 liters up to 200.
And that would take how many kilometers?
That's what I'm trying to say. So the type of vehicle you are installing now will determine the type of cylinder you are supposed to take. You are not going to take cylinder that is going to weigh your vehicle down. Remember, I told you it's very heavy.
Okay.
Yes, so you take the cylinder that is going to be enough for you. Okay. And it's going to be okay for the vehicle. Okay. So if you are looking at the difference between PMS and CNG itself, you get PMS, 1 liter of PMS will take you about 15 to 17 kilometers.
Okay.
Yes, it will take you about 15 to 17 kilometers, while CNG, 1 cubic meter, is going to take you about 25 to 30 kilometers.
Okay.
So that's different. And it's cleaner, very clean. CNG is cleaner, it's cheaper, and it's the most suitable thing about it is environmental friendly. At least we'll be doing more justice to our environment if we key into the technology. So that's the difference between PMS and CNG.
Okay, so certainly bus drivers, commercial drivers should key into this
They should.
innovation.
They should.
Okay, now finally, let's move to other setbacks or drawbacks of this technology that people should be aware of. You know, you're a mechanic now. You engage people every day.
Yes.
After installing, do people come back with 1 or 2 complaints on their vehicles?
The thing, yeah, some people come back with 1 or 2 complaints. The truth is, some people, when they are bringing in these vehicles, there are stages. There's pre-inspection stage where you have to take all the, you have to check the vehicle before installation. Okay. So sometimes when you don't take those inventories very well, you tend to have problem, because if your vehicle is sick, like it's not okay, and you install CNG is not a miracle, and you install CNG on it because you heard they say CNG will make your engine last longer, and then you now want to come and install CNG on a vehicle that is not healthy, it's actually going to drain it down. Imagine you having headache. You're having headache normally, and then malaria, you now go and take something, or malaria now come and add to the head, because this CNG has power. It's actually drawing power from your vehicle. So your vehicle has to be, very sound for it to be able to balance up. So once your vehicle is not okay, and you see some people, like there was a customer, after installation, he came back and said, since you installed on my vehicle, my brake stopped working.
Okay.
I was like, CNG has nothing to do with your braking system. It only have things to do with your combustion, your inner combustion. Okay. So it has nothing to do with your brake system. So all these are the awareness that people need to know. They need to know all these things before they bring in their car. You see some people, they will tell you, since I've installed, I'm hearing some noise, I'm hearing this, because they just come for that installation. They are not fully aware of how it works or how it behaves. So everything that happens to that car, they will tend to, pin it on the installation. Because if your vehicle was making noise before, and you now install CNG on it, it will make it Do you understand? Okay. So people have to understand all these procedures first.
Okay. Now let's talk. I should have asked this question earlier about engine performance. I stumbled on that it reduces engine performance. Is that true?
No. That's not true. It doesn't reduce engine performance at all. It actually increases the performance. It makes it more healthy. That's what I'm telling you. When you go to an installation center, that knows what they are doing, and they know the type of vehicle, the right kits to use on your vehicle, you will not tend to have that problem. You will see the switch overs are very seamless. When you are switching from, because of the drawer system, it has nothing to do with your PMS. We are not touching anything that has...
so you have the option of also still
going... Yes, you have the option. It's an alternative for... You have the option to always switch from gas to petrol, from petrol to gas. And during these switches, you don't even know the difference.
Okay.
You don't need to stop your vehicle before you switch it.
All right.
You may be driving, you just switch, and you'll not even know. As in, when you switch something, there are some things when you switch, you feel the switch. You know that this thing has switched from this to this. But once you are on CNG, it doesn't happen like that. You just switch it and you not even know.
Okay, so let's go to the cost.
Yes.
How much was the cost implication for converting a vehicle? And if SUVs differ from saloon cars and the like.
Yes. Just as I've said earlier, we have different type of vehicles. And though normally CNG works with the way they produce the kits, it has to do with the set of cylinders you have. There are 4-cylinder vehicles, there are 6 cylinders vehicle, there are 8-cylinder vehicles, there are 12 cylinders vehicle, like that. That's how they design the kits.
Okay.
So you have to go to for which one it's best for your vehicle. And we have sequential kits, we have GDI kits, and we have open loops kits. Those, the carburetor kits. So
and they all differ.
They are all different. So if somebody tell you that I converted my vehicle at 1 million, and the same 4-cylinder, and you brought yours, and they say no, it's 1.2 or it's 800, you should know that there's a something is different about the two vehicles.
Okay.
So in Autogas Nigeria, ranging from 1 million upward, depending on the vehicle and the type of cylinder you want to use. If somebody install 4-cylinder with a 65-liter cylinder, is different from somebody that installs that same 4-cylinder with a 70 cylinder with a 70 liters cylinder.
Okay.
So the price varies like that. That's how.
So until you get to an expert before you can actually determine.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming on Dateline. We
you.
hope we've been able to educate our audience on the upsides and downsides of CNG powered vehicles. Thank you so much, Juliet.
Thank you.
And keep the good work. Compressed natural gas presents a promising alternative to premium motor spirit (PMS) for powering motor vehicles. Its environmental benefits, cost effectiveness, and potential to improve energy security makes it an attractive option for many countries and industries. While CNG may not fully replace PMS in the short term, it remains a viable transitional fuel that can contribute to reducing global dependence on petroleum-based fuels and decreasing environmental pollution, ultimately contributing to the attainment of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 6, clean water and sanitation, and 7, affordable and clean energy by 2030. Moreover, strict regulations and safety standards must be enforced to minimize incidents of explosion and ensure the safe use of CNG-powered vehicles. Thank you so much for your time. Don't forget to download the Housing TV mobile app on Google Play Store and App Store to get all the housing information you would need. Also, remember to follow us on all our social media platforms at Housing TV Africa. I'm Joyce Nwosu. Thanks a lot for watching.
Improvement in power generation and supply. That is part of it. Part of a partnership with
Visit Housing TV Africa on YouTube and click on the subscribe button. Subscribe to Housing TV Africa to stay updated on latest happenings in Nigeria's housing sector. Follow our social media pages, like and share our posts on Facebook, Housing TV Africa, on Twitter, Housing TV Africa, Instagram, Housing TV Africa. Join the conversation and keep up with latest housing updates.
Housing TV Africa, your first in housing development broadcasting.